When Lewis was born, I lived with his dad, but we struggled, and I struggled in particular, holding down a full-time job and looking after Lewis and a lot of other pressures in our life at the time. And when Lewis was 2, I left and took Lewis with me. Paul and I met through work. We'd known each other a long time actually before we got together. Lewis was always a really caring, really kind boy. And really nice to be around.
We had good times together. We absolutely adored Lewis. I suppose there's no such thing as idyllic, but it was a lovely family life we thought we had.
At secondary school, Lewis had a nice group of friends when he started there, and he had a bit of an argument with one of them, and he started to hang out with a different set of friends, and it was this group of friends that he started taking drugs with. You know, we just found the odd thing. He made out like it wasn't really a big thing, and you know, he was sorry, and you know, it wouldn't happen again. But it did keep happening again.
No matter what consequence we put for taking drugs, the drugs would always win. Then we said it's either drugs or school, drugs won. It's either learning to be a pilot or drugs, drugs won.
The choices he was making became really, really strange. He lost everything. You know, he was losing his friends, his hobbies, his education, everything that he'd always said he wanted. We had a family holiday, a family ski holiday, where all our friends and family were with us. We had some lovely kids with us, and they went out every night together, even there in another country. Rather than staying with the nice group of friends he was supposed to be with, he went off and found some kids he didn't know who were taking drugs. And, you know, we only found him because we all went out looking for him, because he just didn't come back. And he was, you know, lying frozen in the snow on drugs. And alarm bells were ringing now that he couldn't actually stop this.
I just couldn't control the situation, and it made me feel pretty useless or pathetic, or question myself about what I was doing. So I found it really, really, an enormous challenge, the biggest challenge I ever had.
I think I was just in a constant state of panic, because, you know, when you can see somebody killing themselves, when you can see your son trying to kill themselves, that fear of what the next phone call was going to be was just terrifying, wasn't it?
Yeah.
By the time Lewis got to 18, we asked him to leave home, and he went to stay with his dad. And at that point, he chopped and changed jobs for cash so that he could buy drugs, and moved around so people didn't really know where he was. But not long afterwards, Lewis actually phoned me himself, and he was psychotic, and he didn't know who he was or where he was. So I drove straight up to Manchester, and I went to get him, and we took him straight to hospital in Manchester. We put him into a programme at the Priory Clinic in Birmingham, and it was supposed to be a 4-week programme, but he couldn't engage with that programme for the first 3 weeks at all, because he was completely psychotic, and he was there for 12 weeks in total. So it was just so scary to see him in that state, talking to the furniture and talking to the walls and thinking he was going to die. And I thought maybe this was it. I thought maybe this is his low point. Maybe he's going to be really frightened like I was. And so when he came out of the Priory, we said he could move back in. And then he started his A-levels again. And I'd say within 6 months, it deteriorated again.
We then, after Lewis left that college, we bought a little flat to give Lewis another chance, one last chance, if you like. His flat literally had a bed and a settee.
And we used to put food in the fridge every week. We had to try all of this. We had to try everything before he was on the streets, really.
But the drugs were winning every time, weren't they?
Yeah.
And the flat was a disaster. When we went into the flat, we couldn't believe what we saw, to be honest with you.
Well, the dealers took over the flat and took over Lewis. So they had Lewis dealing, and they were storing all sorts of stuff in the flat.
It wasn't a Lewis on drugs I saw, it was a terrified Lewis. It was a really, really scared 19-year-old boy.
When we told him he couldn't live in the apartment anymore, I said, I'll drop you off at the homeless shelter, or you can phone Betel if you really want to go there, but you've got to want to do this. And thankfully he phoned Betel. And we sort of handed him over. It was a lovely fella, half his teeth missing and full of tattoos, and he gave us this big smile.
He just looked at us and said, "You'll hear from us in a month." And we thought, blimey, a month not hearing from Lewis would be a miracle, because we're petrified about Lewis every day.
And when we first went to visit Lewis in Betel, we found this lovely Lewis, the one that we'd had little glimpses of.
We felt really loved and really welcome, and we could see why Lewis had changed so quickly in a way, because obviously he'd been surrounded by this love and welcoming, which we'd only witnessed, Karen, for maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
They were just helping him, they just really cared and wanted to help him.
It was an absolute miracle, wasn't it?
Yeah, Lewis didn't really come from a practicing faith background, but in Betel, he's found that, and he's really embraced faith.
The Bible's got all these things which Lewis will learn and study about how to live life the right way. And it's not about a psychiatrist or psychologist, it's coming from a book written and the right way to live. And we said at the time, didn't we, Karen? Mm-hmm. It's great because Lewis has always got that book on him, hasn't he?
On our first visit to see Lewis, by pure chance, the house leader mentioned that they had planning permission to build a new building. They just needed a drainage design, and that's my job, designing drainage, so we could help with that straight away. And luckily Paul's job is building the things I design.
So we spoke to the Toons and the family about the building work, and they said, they had a donation to help. I said to Karen, we've got to help. So I said, we'll match that donation. And then the other donor then wouldn't give them any money unless all the funding was complete. So I said to Karen, I said, we've got to fund all of it. When we said we were going to do it, I looked at the budget for the job. There's no way they'll build it for that money. So I wrote to all my suppliers and I said, I really need your help. And once we told the story, they said, we'll give you all the concrete, we'll give you all the flooring, we'll give you all the tarmac, we'll give you a valve pumping station. If we thought we could get together the things to get something to happen like that, then we definitely wanted to do it, didn't we? No question, Karen.
There was a group of people in front of us who needed help, and we're in a position to help, and so why wouldn't you?
But it's got to be the best thing we've ever done. It's got us closer to the charity, it's got us closer to the people who run Betel Nottingham, hasn't it, Karen?
Yeah, we got Lewis back, but we also gained a big Betel family. Now Lewis is at Betel, and he's been there almost 2 years. That's been 2 years without panic. I sleep at night, whereas I wouldn't have slept a night before.
I think it's made us better people, hasn't it, Karen?
Oh yeah. I can't walk past a homeless person on the street anymore without giving them a sandwich and a Betel leaflet.
It's made me understand people with drug problems a lot better. It's made me understand Lewis a lot better. And it's been a really, really, really hard time, but I do feel closer to Lewis than I've ever felt.
I think Betel saves individual people, but it also saves families. So when that person is healed, it heals the whole family.
I'm someone who really has been given a good chance at life again. I'm someone who I don't really deserve to have what I have now. But I'm still loved. I've still got potential. Just like what Mum said, the goodness that she used to see in me is still here.